Hi, it's Jeff Caliguara. Welcome back to day 2 in 3 days to unlock the work that you love. Now, this time we are going to be talking about unlocking your proficiency. Now, proficiency, I know it's kind of a big word in some ways, but what is proficiency? And I learned that it comes from the Latin proficientum, okay, which means to accomplish, to make progress, to be good at something, to have success, to make profit. Now, really, if that's what proficiency is, then shouldn't we all want to be proficient? By you being proficient, you actually really bring value to other people as well as value to your life. And I am passionate about helping people who have a heart to be proficient actually move in that direction and really do it. So today I want you to stick with me through this whole time because I'm going to give you some things that you've probably never really considered as you've looked at or thought about your own proficiency. Now, I have been pretty mediocre at things in life. One of the things I was pretty mediocre at was playing quarterback. Now, I'm the youngest of 3 brothers, grew up in New Jersey, and my oldest brother was, all-league quarterback, went on to play in college. My other brother, all-league quarterback. And so I was kind of the kid who, I was the one they threw to. I was really the receiving dummy, and they just throw the balls. I mean, my hands would just develop blisters because I was constantly having to catch the balls that my quarterback brothers threw. So when I went to high school, they said, "Who wants to play quarterback?" I'm like, "Well, my name is Jeff Caliguara. I guess that means I'm a quarterback." And so for the first few years, I played quarterback, and I was a pretty mediocre quarterback. In fact, the linemen used to sing a song, "Do you really know who you're throwing to?" And they were bad singers, by the way, but they would sing that song almost as a way to say, "Are you really a quarterback?" And what happened in my junior year was my coach approached me and said, "Jeff, we've noticed that you can catch a football. What if you in this game were just to play receiver and let's see what happens?" And at first I was like devastated, like, well, how could that be? I'm a quarterback. But I started to play receiver and everything changed. I started enjoying what I was doing. I actually got good at it. And by the time I was a senior in high school, we were a great team. And a lot of that came because I realized that my proficiency was as a receiver. The other day I was getting a haircut, and I told the lady who was cutting my hair where I went to school. And with shock in her eyes, she said, "Wow, how did you get into that school?" And I said, "Well, to tell you the truth, I played football, and it kind of got me in." So what I want to tell you is sometimes by leaning into a proficiency, it can make all the difference. So what are 5 reasons you knowing and doing your proficiency first can make a big difference? And the first is your confidence. Because when you are doing something that you know is something you're good at, something you're born to do, something you've been gifted or given skills, it makes you feel good about doing it more. The second reason is because of contribution. For me, when I started playing receiver, I could contribute in a way that I never could before. And when you start really leaning in and focusing your best proficiencies, you will be able to contribute, and others will need you. They'll need you, the clients will need you, your teammates will need you, and you will be able to bring things that you've never thought you could. Number 3 is clarity on what to say yes to and clarity on what to say no to. Now, I've worked over the years with a lot of high school and college students, and they're confused because there are all these options out there. There's 1,200 college majors. There's 11,000 different careers in the career handbook. So how do you know what to say yes to, what to say no to? Proficiencies. They're one of the keys, along with what we talked about yesterday in knowing your passion. But as you really know your proficiency, that will allow you to say yes to this project and no to that one. Now, it doesn't mean it will not need to be developed or that you'll need to know what the shadow of your proficiency is, and we can talk about that another time. But knowing your proficiency will help you make choices. Number 4 is certainty on taking a risk. So if you're going to go and move towards a career in singing, you want to know, are you proficient in music, or in creativity, or in leadership, or in speaking or writing? Whatever it is that you are proficient in, you want to be able to take a risk, especially entrepreneurial risk, knowing that you are really good at this. Finally, number 5 is collaboration instead of competition. And when you feel good about where you really do have gifts, you can know how you can help and what role you can play on the team, and know how to collaborate with others. And frankly, for me, I was jealous of people who had certain administrative kind of gifts that I didn't have. And I needed to realize that if God gave me all the gifts, then I wouldn't need anybody else. And really, it's the same with you. When you know what your proficiencies are, you can collaborate better, and your team can collaborate better. So the question then is, okay, how do I go about this? In the 1940s, a man named Bernard Haldane in England was watching and working with soldiers who were coming from World War II in Britain. And what he started to see was, by helping them get placed into careers and positions that fit what they loved doing in the military, that actually helped them succeed and find happiness and find joy and find a sense of accomplishment because they were in their proficiencies. So what he started to note was, by looking at the patterns of what you've done in the past, you can start to see what you would want to do in the future. So as I was stuck back in the 1990s, I worked with someone who helped me understand my proficiencies by understanding my stories. And I didn't do it just by taking a quick test. It actually means a little bit of stepping back and understanding the patterns of why you do what you do, of how you do it, of what kind of tools you work with, and what you accomplish when you figure out what you did in the past. So what I want to invite you to do as an exercise is to actually write down off the top of your head, you don't have to overthink it, since you were little, what were 10 to 12, or maybe even 15, let's just say 10 to 12, things that you did that you felt like were accomplishments. And really go back to when you were little. Go back to, were you the person who created the lemonade stand? Were you the person who put on shows? Were you the person who arranged all your dolls in just a certain way? Were you the person who loved organizing all the kids to go on an adventure like I did? I used to love getting all my neighborhood friends together, and we would go and explore the storm sewers. Now, didn't tell mom or dad till I was older, but that was our adventures, and we'd find dead rats and all kinds of joys. But I now realize that I love getting people together to go on an adventure. So as you write those down, what you're going to do then is look for what made you do it. What was your motivation? The second thing is, what did I work with, or how did I work with tools or people? Did you work with your hands? Did you motivate other people? Did you teach other people? What were the tools that you used? And then number 3, what was the environment you did it in? How did you, were you doing it outside? You love being outdoors. Did you do it in an office or in front of a screen? You loved creating things on the computer. And then finally, what was the accomplishment? What was the final product that was created? And as you understand that, you can start to see and put words to, what am I good at? What am I proficient at? And what are the things that I'll never get tired of doing just because this is who I am? And as you unlock that, trust me, I've seen it in my own life, and I've seen the life and the energy and the better relationships. That's what I want for you as well. But you need to have the courage and actually take the time, Don't go and just say, hey, I'll do that sometime. Write them down. What were 10 to 12 past accomplishments? And then what are your proficiencies? What are the patterns? So my dream is where people really get to use their best proficiencies and their best gifts in life. I mean, imagine what kind of energy and what kind of creativity could be released if more people really honed in and discovered what they were great at and said no to what they weren't. Just imagine what could happen in workplaces where more people really were in the right spot, doing the right thing for the right reasons, using their proficiencies. So my encouragement to you is do the work, really find what it is that you're proficient at, and then move more and more towards that. So do that, and then combine that with what we talked about yesterday, your passion, and then combine it with your proficiency. And then what we're going to do tomorrow is I'm going to bring you to know the what does that matter and how can I do something about this as we talk about unlocking your platform. So make sure you tune into that video. There'll be a lot of practical things of moving towards or building a platform where you can unlock the work that you love. Thanks for taking the time to listen. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.